live on this thing, Razor. Y'all give us a moment while we get set up. Year-end show, IMHO, baby.
Hey, y'all, like little kids look into the micro.
Right.
Little kids and whatnot.
Hey, mama. Yeah. So y'all bearing with us. Great show coming up, man.
Yeah.
Year-end review. We got to celebrate all our people, Black businesses popping up with the shops. We got the folks, doing the great gift and toy drives. I got to shout y'all out, man.
We sort of like mad skills.
Yeah.
People looking for the year.
The year. Was it the wrap up? The yearly wrap up?
Yearly wrap up.
Man, got to celebrate Kwanzaa. Got to remember that heritage. So we focus going into the new year, y'all. Also, it's a time of the season where you celebrate, the birth of Jesus the Christ, if that's what you believe in. And like I said, the year review, we're gonna have CVILLE tomorrow and PROLYFYCK Jefferson African American Heritage School Center, and then we also gonna have Vinegar Hill magazine. So, hey, hitting those top stories and all that good stuff, man. Y'all stay tuned.
And let's not forget about the health care, like not just mental health, but actually understanding that flu and COVID,
yes, Lord,
and just the common cold is still rampant. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all better not forget.
Yeah, but it's easy to get complacent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so if you're not in the midst of the turmoil at that specific time, then you can kind of be lackadaisical about your own health. So
big facts.
Take care of yourself.
Big facts. All right, we're gonna mute y'all. Let these underwriters pay some bills. Shout outs to everybody that supports Jams and IMHO, CVILLE Inclusive Media. Love y'all. Be right back at it. Hey, Ron, what you talking about? Says we unmuted, hey, Ron. Testing. Yeah, we live, hey, Ron. No, check your connection, homeboy. South Carolina heat too much for you down there, homeboy?
You down there where the dirt roads is long.
Hey, Ron, talk to me.
Can you hear me?
Hey, Ron, talk to me.
I'm talking.
You good? You got us now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Cool. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah, we good. Morning. What's
up,
big brother?
Mute the microphone over here.
That's already muted. Yeah, see right there, the red one at the bottom.
Why can I hear? Oh, I'm here. Oh, my bad. I'm gonna listen to it.
All right, yeah. So, hey, Ron, we live. Just so you know, like, don't say nothing crazy unless you want the world to know right about now.
Oh, then I'm about to just say it all.
Hey, but we are gonna mute after these ads about a minute and a half. We're gonna be right back at it. Hey, Ron, we're gonna go live with our intro, and then we get ready, take a break, get ready for our first guest, Leslie Scott Jones, talk about Jefferson School African American Heritage Center, Kwanzaa celebrations.
All right, let's get to it.
Hey, Charles, I'm not on.
y'all. Here we go.
At the Red Crab or David Wayne or CVILLE on Facebook. We'll have a champagne toast at midnight. And
Now that y'all playing up here.
It's the grown and sexy New Year's Eve affair at the Red Crab in Charlottesville. You don't want to miss
Listen to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ain't no back feed.
You're listening to, in my humble opinion, only on 101.3.
Yeah, ready?
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles.
Razor.
A Ron.
Ron. I got mad A's in my name today.
You got mad A's today.
Yeah.
Always showing
That's
off.
what's up, man. It's always good to hear
Studio
that,
audience.
man.
Miss Max, the queen on the way. You know the diva got to get ready.
Yeah.
You know how it go. Razor, we 6 feet away. When we get the guests,
Yeah.
on,
Oh, then we're pretty good. Thank goodness.
I mean,
out of air already.
Like unless you want me to protect this mic or something like that, I can go ahead and throw it up. But it's gonna muffle you a little bit. But yeah, hey,
Yes.
family, you could have been anywhere in the world and guess, but you're here with us. IMHO, yet another show. Like my man Remy St. Clair was saying, attitude check. Razor, how you feeling?
I feel good, man. It is bittersweet because I've been talking to a lot of people for the past month, and a lot of people are going through a lot of different things.
Yes,
right?
Lord.
But they pressing forward.
Mm.
So I'm hoping that today's show helps somebody somewhere get that New Year's resolution today.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait till January 1st. You know what I'm saying? Get their mindset straight. Get proactive and not reactive, so
Absolutely.
I'm anxious for today to get going.
Yeah. Like I already said, we got a great show lined up. Hey, Ron, man, we have our year in review, and to do that, hitting some of the top stories of the year, man, we're going to have Angelique Shaw, chief editor at Charlottesville tomorrow.
Yes.
We're going to have Vinegar Hill magazine extraordinaire, Esquire, the brother, the prophet, Sarad Davenport, the homie. The homie. And we also going to have Littles and Will from PROLYFYCK. They had a great year, man. And they're one of the many in our community that's doing the toy drives. Shouts out to everybody as well. I know Ms. Diana Bryan has been leading some. I know the folks over at Uhuru Foundation along with Dream and, the whole crew, so many to name. So y'all definitely look everybody up, man. Go to that Charlottesville Black Excellence Facebook page for one, or Discover Black CVILLE. But there's so many drives going on for the youth, as well as the Black businesses, man, that are getting out there at the pop-up shops. And even if they're not at a pop-up shop, y'all look them up, support them. Whether you talking about my man, Shawnee Gilliam with 7 Brand, or you talking about, like I said, our folks at Vinegar Hill. There's so many with homegirl Chantel Bigham has the Shea Butter Company. Hey, Ron, holler at her for all your shea butter and cocoa butter needs, brother, man.
You said for his needs or his needs?
Both of them. Hey, but Razor, I just got in trouble. I shouldn't have named nobody.
Yeah.
Because now somebody can say, hey,
you done left out about 50
yeah, so many of us, but proud of y'all. And all you doing this. And if you are better off than some others, y'all, like I said, there's so many causes here in this community that we could be supporting. So even if you don't have that time, that collateral of time to give, but you may have some little bit of money in the bank. Remember those less fortunate, especially during this time. It's cold outside, Aaron. They may need some coats, may need some food, that they just may be in need. But I'm glad we have such a plethora and such a unified front here in Charlottesville that want to help out, man, and want to succeed. Hey, Aaron, attitude check on you, my brother. It's been a minute.
Well, first of all, I heard the ad before y'all got started was a grown and sexy event, so that would have been the perfect time for me to get the jet and bring down the shea butter and show up to that event. So that's number one. But nah, I'm doing well, man. Holiday season, family's great. I feel good. And I just hope that everyone can just I'm gonna throw it out there. The 2 words for next year is that people should be patient with themselves, and people should also look up and just keep moving forward. And so, but yeah, definitely some great causes out there. Get involved with some level of volunteering. But remember, charity starts at home first. You got to make sure that the home front as well before you get out here and try to start doing things.
100%.
Yeah, shouts out to the homeboy.
So what's it like,
little brother?
What's it like having Christmas knowing you're not gonna have no snow? Now you from New York. Harlem's, Queens, and all that other boroughs.
There's a chance of snow though. There's
You
a
know-
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not
I
cold
mean,
this
it's
game?
cold, bro.
Yeah.
It was cold. It's cold.
Yeah,
I was
cold
outside
ain't
in the
snow.
morning.
Oh, you talking about South Carolina?
Yeah, I'm talking about
he
South
may not
Carolina.
get none.
Yeah, how's it feel to know that you're gonna have palm trees instead of Christmas trees?
Oh, it feels wonderful. I'm good. I ain't missing nothing. I'm straight.
Gotcha.
I'm good.
Had
I'm
to
good.
ask.
Yeah. And let's see. Queen Max,
Is she here?
we got you. She on her way.
Hey, I am here. I'm having some audio issues,
Hey!
but I am here.
Now we can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear us?
You're pretty low, but I'm here. I'll work on it.
Turn your volume up, Miss Max.
Turn up.
Turn up. Miss Max, attitude check queen. We in this holiday season. We here for a year-end review. We are here to celebrate our people and our year. We are here to talk about all the things going on and try to uplift the spirits. We lost too many. We still losing ours, Miss Max, but attitude check on you as we close out this year. Look forward. How you feeling?
Hey, look, I'm still grateful. It's been a season, but it's the end of 2022. I realized.
Oh, we lost your audio, Miss Max.
Oh, I thought it was my headphone.
We lost your audio, Miss Max. But hey, we're going to get that straight, family. We're going to go ahead and take a break, get Miss Max back. And then we also, as promised, are going to be joined by Leslie Scott Jones,
Yes.
the Jefferson School African American Heritage Center. In particular, we want to hear how their year's been, what they're looking forward to. But in particular, they're helping us continue our tradition and make sure we remember our roots, Razor, by continuing our Kwanzaa celebration and leading that. So, y'all stay tuned, family. So,
Absolutely.
the gang's all here.
Yes.
Ganging them. Sarah Charles, Miss Max, Razor, Ron, IMHO, tell a friend, family. Streaming and broadcasting worldwide. IMHO Talk Show.
And goes down. Some
Ready?
pop and R&B.
Hey, sister.
CVILLE's #1
I'm just wearing a mask to be cautious.
Yeah.
Do we spray down?
Yeah.
A lot of people get sick nowadays.
Yeah, so we won't take no chance.
It's the flu season.
We the best music.
Hey, Miss Max, can you hear us?
Nuh-uh, we lost your audio over there for a second.
Tell her try again.
Try again.
Hey, Ron, you still there? You got it?
Yep, I'm back.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
All right, Miss Max, you got us?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Cool. Yep, we good. All right, we're going to mute. It's a long song, but we're going to go ahead and prep up for Leslie. We be back on in 5, less than 5.
Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
I see a lot of holding gigs. Me and me can never beef. I freak from a whole big. Hold it. It's time to have a discussion. Who you go if you don't just know this? Forgive me, that's my passion talking. Sometimes I feel like Farrakhan talking to Mike Wallace. I think y'all should keep quiet.
All right, y'all ready?
Yes.
Oh, that one might be. Yeah. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah.
Here we go. IMHO Talk Show. Live and in full effect, y'all. For this 2022 year in show and review, Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor,
Yeah.
Aaron, aka Shea Butter,
He didn't drop the mic.
aka Queens Get the Money.
AKA get out the bathroom.
I'm still waiting for him.
Say Shea Butter. Oh my Lord.
AKA MLS 55555. All right. Hey, Aaron will be back in a minute.
Yes, it is.
Hey,
That
but
filter fish thing went wrong on it.
hey, but you can be anywhere in the world, family, but you are here with us. You know, and like we always do at this time, man, we are so delighted for this segment right here, though, to be able to start with the guest for the last show of 2022. I hope you feel special, Leslie.
Man, she over here giggling. Look, I'm a snitch on her. Look,
Okay, go ahead.
She over here giggling and whatnot. She back in her element right here. So
I really am. You know, this is where I started in Charlottesville Radio, literally right in this room.
Right in this seat right here.
So I'm literally like, I'm messing with the mic and
it's still broke.
It's still broke.
1986.
I was like, that's right. This the one we just used to like
that's right.
tape it together.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
That's right.
Yeah, so again, you know, thank you for joining us today in the Jefferson School African American Heritage Center. You know, being that this is a year in review show, let's start it there because you all, you know, have been consistent with making sure that our city, you know, along with board members, community volunteers, and everything. You know, shouts out to everybody doing their thing. You know, with making sure that our history and our culture is upheld. But you know, we're gonna get into the Kwanzaa plans and maybe, you know, some of your goals and the board's goals for 23. But when you think about 22, you know, and you being a board member and you having excellent programs, right? And you know, and I know that sometimes we need to communicate that better, and make sure people are buying in and really understand the value in the Jefferson School. But when you think about 2022, like what has that meant to the Jefferson School?
God, 2022 has been a roller coaster of a year. I feel like January to June was a completely different year than July to December. Right? Okay. Like January to June, we were still like trying to figure out how we were being responsible concerning our continuing pandemic. You know, how we were going to keep our patrons safe when they came to our space, and really thinking about like what we wanted to present to the Black community. Like what did they need that wasn't being provided that we could have a hand in making sure they got, right? Okay. And then the second half of the year was us trying to implement those things. And of course, in July, we realized, oh, wow, we're going to be 10 years old next year. Yep. You know, and when you're in an organization that no one thought was going to survive even 3 years.
God did.
Right?
I like that.
And, you know, here we are rolling into year 10. It's kind of like, oh, okay, you know what? We're doing all right. We doing that thing.
Yeah,
that's right.
And to kind of sit back and be like, you know what, we are still here. We are still serving the Black community. We are still trying to bring important conversations to not just the Black community, but Charlottesville at large. And, you know, and we're still part of a lot of very big, important conversations that are happening about Charlottesville and the surrounding area. And that's what we're supposed to be doing.
I see the Jefferson as like the grandparents of Charlottesville.
Yes.
You're a staple, but people forget about you. They forget about your importance, right?
Yes.
And they forget about the wisdom and the knowledge and everything. I have the benefit of actually being in the Jefferson with you, with my new position.
Yeah.
But when I walk around the city and when you say like, man, you know the Jefferson, oh yeah, I know the Jefferson and Carver and all that. They talk about it like it's grandma's house.
Yes.
You know, so I really think that we need to figure out how to implement that wisdom back into our youth.
Yes.
Because that's part of what I feel like they're missing. Like we always talk about, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Max.
No, I was just going to say that you all have a really heavy lift, though, if you think about it. Like you hold the roots to a large degree or responsible for making sure that the city understands who it is, the Black community, Black Charlottesville community, who it is, where it comes from, and to some degree what direction it's heading in, to be able to educate and entertain and all of these other things in a way that is respectful to heritage, but is acceptable to all
Yeah.
the critics out there,
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys really do have a big responsibility, and I don't necessarily know if people understand it that way. I'm also curious to know how many directors the the African American Heritage Center has had.
Only one. Only Dr.
Just
Douglas.
one.
That's right.
And here's the thing that I think a lot of people kind of forget as well. For those first few years, it was just her. Like it was just her. Like before the permanent exhibit opened, it was her. And she told me, we were talking about it a few weeks ago, and she was telling me that that Miss Teresa, who if you know the street, our office windows
on the
sit
backside,
on the backside, sit right across from her house. And at like 10:30, 11:30 at night, Miss Teresa would call her and be like, "Why are you still at work? Go home." On a regular, right? Like this is the kind of you said it, dedication that Dr. Douglas has put into this place and making it something that Black Charlottesville can really be proud of and really call their second home.
Black women have always done that for the Black community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we raise up the Harriet Tubmans and things of that nature, right? But we don't look at it locally.
Right.
When Max was talking, I was thinking about how people always say that the children don't know where they come from. If they knew, they'd act like kings and queens, right? But when it's locally and you say, okay, go back to the Jefferson, walk through there and see the way people dress, to see the accomplishments they made, and understand that is somebody that you come from.
So we have in the second part of our permanent exhibit, we have the same quote from Isabella Gibbons that's on the enslaved laborers monument, right? But we present it in a completely different way when we do a tour, right? When we do a tour and people are reading that quote, and if you haven't seen it, I'm going to paraphrase, but it is basically Isabella saying that we're not going to forget what slavery did to us, right? We're not going to forget what that did, and we're not going to let you forget that we know what it did.
That's right. You can't.
That's right.
Right?
You can't. You're doomed to make the same mistakes, right?
Well, and the thing is that with that, she made that quote. She said that in 1867. She had been a free woman for 2 years at that point. She wasn't talking to her people. She was talking to white people. Right? She was making a point to say, we know what happened. Like, we are not this like stupid population of people that thinks that you just gave us something.
Facts.
Right? This is a quote from a woman who is like, this is revolution. Right? She's talking about revolution. She's talking about persistence and tenacity. Right? And succeeding even in the face of everybody being against you. You know?
Yeah.
And that's absolutely what we want the Black children of Charlottesville to understand about the place that they come from.
That's right.
Like, there was an entire community of 600 free Black people in Charlottesville before emancipation. What do you think they were doing?
Right. And the interesting part about that is that you do have a portion of the Black community in Charlottesville, and of course a portion of the white community, who does not want to take that stance at all.
Right.
They would much rather the story be told from, a place of resiliency, and not that our true history isn't from this place, but a place of resiliency and just being victorious and overcoming, rather than getting down to the dirty, which is what none of us really want to face, right? Because it makes us vulnerable, right? It calls out our wrong deeds. But yeah, this is very true. There's a large part of the Black community, or there's a portion of the Black community who do not want the story told from that perspective. Do you guys hear that?
Yeah, and so Dr. Douglas and I made a very purposeful choice to stop using the word resilient.
Okay.
Because it's passive.
Right?
It conjures, right.
It wasn't so
surviving.
Yeah, surviving.
It's not, it doesn't say that you were part of your liberation.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't say that you were involved in what happened to you. So it doesn't tell the true story of these people who lived here.
Yeah.
Right.
The narrative is always constructed.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you can't really tell the whole truth of that story if you're not using the correct descriptors. Right.
Yeah, and Leslie, thank you for that info. And I think that's a perfect timing about the membership.
Yes.
Like that right there should be the importance of the membership. Like, so if you want to plug the website or your email or whatever for folks to get more membership information, if you want to touch on why that's so important, and then tell us about the goals for 23, on how the membership is going to, contribute.
Yeah. I mean, our membership prices are, quite frankly, the cheapest membership you're going to find anywhere. I mean, a family membership is $60. Right. And with that family membership, you get discounts to all of our paid events. You get discounts in our alumni shop. And you get special invites, right? We have members only events every year. So it's either going to be a discussion that Dr. Douglas does with a colleague, or we do a members party every year where we invite all of our members to come and eat and drink and have a little karaoke fun. I'm gonna tell you, y'all ain't seen nothing.
Have a little drink
until you seen Tanisha Hudson up on that stage doing some karaoke. Y'all ain't seen nothing. I'm just saying.
Look, I can see her now closing eyes on some. That's right.
Hey, and speaking of Tanisha too, shouts out to Tanisha for even for the effort and bringing up the fact that how the local history should be taught in our schools.
Absolutely.
And I'm definitely hoping we can get behind that and we can push that through because to what you're saying, I think that's the kind of community assistance and realness that could assist the Jefferson School.
Well, and we've been doing that work with the school systems for a number of years with our Embracing Our Narratives program, which takes local teachers and actually teaches them this history so that they can use it in their classroom.
And that makes me think about the Trailblazer program too.
Exactly. Yeah. Trailblazer program, which we are working on expanding, but up until now, it has been junior and senior high schoolers who come to the Jeff School for the summer, and we teach them how to be museum professionals, right? So they learn all of the history that's in our permanent exhibit, right? The Black history of Charlottesville. And then they get to choose how they're going to build their own tour, right? So it's not just here, we're going to teach you all of this, and then we're going to tell you how you say it. No. They get to do their own research based on what we already know, and they get to build their own tour to talk about what they think is important to highlight in this huge story.
I'm sure, if I can ask a question, I'm sure that the majority of the people that take the walk around the city with Dr. Douglas don't look like us, right?
Yes.
So I noticed that, in order to really understand the other side, you have to go where what makes them feel comfortable, what explains them.
Yeah.
And we kind of get upset because we always feel that other people want to tell us what we need to do, how we need to act, what we need to look at. But we don't also look at the fact of they are researching us, even if it's in a negative light, right?
Absolutely.
So why do you think that more of us don't take the time to take the walks and find out where your grandparents walked or how you got to the point that you're at right now.
I am not sure what the answer is to that because I was never that person. I've always been the type of person that I wanted to know, right? Like my mom and I spent an entire year digging into both sides of her family to find out, where they came from and what, how they got together and how these people ended up in, my ancestral line. And, and there were some surprises along the way.
I like stuff like
talk about that, Leslie.
There were some cool things.
You telling my business.
Like there was some cool things. Like I had always thought that my great grandmother on my maternal grandmother's side was one of 13. Well, in the census records, we found another child. That. That's an interesting thing. Now we're in the middle of like trying to find out where that child came from and what happened to them. And
I'm sorry.
So, I've always been curious about that. So I don't really know the reasons why people wouldn't be curious about that. Right. And beyond that, I just think as a society, we are so used to pushing a button and get what we want. Right. And
now wait a minute. Society as in who?
As in all of society.
Okay.
Right.
Everybody likes luxury.
Right. We want to push a button or take a pill or have somebody do it for us. Right. And you see that in every walk of life, whether it's daily at work, passing the buck on to the next person. Hey, you do that. I'll be over here. Or if it's in relationships, like, I really like to be in love, and I ain't doing that work. Right about that. We all
Leslie preaching up in here today.
Yes, she is.
People don't want to work, so why would they want to work to find out a history that they have a sense is painful, right? They think of it as it's going to be painful, which is why at the Just School we purposely couch this as it's not painful. It is talking about the determination of people not just to survive, but to thrive.
Yeah, and the truth was set you free.
Right.
Because I think a lot of times it's sort of comfort versus truth. Because to the point you made is how when we dig up our lineage and our heritage and whatnot, when we find people and things that we were never told about, but that's freeing and that helps complete you, right?
Yes.
And it's the same thing when it comes to our history and our welfare in general, right?
Yes.
It's like the more you know.
Yeah, and we have an entire genealogy group that meets once a month on Saturdays. Y'all don't have to do the work yourself. Come and sit with them. They will help you figure out.
Even better than that,
That's
we
good.
actually bring that to the station, to where we're going to create a pot. I'm kind of letting the cat out the bag. I mean, the cat out the bag for 2023, but we're actually going to bring that to the station so we can talk about it on air and let people.
Absolutely, because it is kind of daunting when you sit there and you're just kind of looking through records and you don't really know what you're looking for. But Burke Brown Step has been doing this for a minute, and they know how to find the information, and they will sit and help you. And they were in there Saturday while I was teaching one of my classes. And they were cutting up. I heard they had their little snacks and everything, and they were like, "Oh, y'all having a party over here? I want to join."
Leslie, and to Razor's point earlier too, that the thing about it being Big Mama is that you also don't miss it until it's done.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where that membership piece comes. That's where the support comes in.
Absolutely, and our membership dollar. I mean, everybody says that our membership dollars help keep the lights on. But I don't think people understand that, we don't get supported by the city the way other organizations that are like us do. We're not getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, from.
Why do you think that is? Or do you think there's a reason at all?
I think it's a lot of things all at once. I think that people get in the habit of, okay, we're giving out this money, and these are the people we normally give it to. All right, cool. We don't have to do any more work. We're just gonna give it to the same people. We're good. You know, there's absolutely part of that. But I also think that you know, controversy scares people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, they're like,
Absolutely.
so our Swords and the Plowshares has like scared people. They're like, oh, I don't know if we want to be here. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, they causing a ruckus. Yeah.
You have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because how Black people have been controlled in this country is largely based on where they were allowed to congregate, where they were allowed to live. And part of the way that they made that society made that okay is creating public space where we didn't feel comfortable.
Right.
Yeah. And to their point too about,
and if we go, we cause trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. And to that point about it not looking like us, that's what people got to remember. It's like you can't complain about the squeaky wheel getting the oil unless you're being that squeaky wheel.
Right. Right.
You know?
And you know, like I understand that a lot of, you know, I grew up here. You know, did I, you know, go to Lee Park and you know, sit down and have a sandwich and a drink? Absolutely not. But you know why? Because somebody told me that place wasn't for me. But I live here just like everybody else. Why isn't that place for me? It's public.
Yeah. And Leslie, you know something that should be noted too. The educated, absolutely, thank you. The educated way and like the sophistication and like the fact that you all are equipped, like when it comes to causing disruption.
Yeah.
I think that's the word that we use. Is important because I feel like some people just want to be disruptive.
Right.
And that, right. Yeah. So it's a difference between just being disruptive and good trouble.
Right.
And that's so important because you still gotta take a seat at the table and you still got to be able to converse. You got to be able to get your point across.
Yeah.
And if people don't want to listen to you or if they're scared to listen to you, it ain't going to work.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's in one and out the other.
And the other thing about like people got so like riled up about that, but we're not saying, oh, now we're going to completely flip it and have that space only be for Black people. Like that's not what we're saying. We're just saying our public spaces in the town that we live in should be inviting for everyone, and everyone should have a voice in creating that.
We're the men.
That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying.
We're the men.
I don't know. Where are they? Where are they? That's
well,
where are they?
Because like as we dig down that rabbit hole of like when Charles said Big Mama's house, then you think about who is the matriarchs that kind of carry on the family, right?
Yeah.
And we have 3 very influential women working behind the doors over there, keeping this history going, right?
Yeah.
So where are the men? Traditionally, and men, don't think that I'm saying that we're not doing our work, right? I am, but I'm not. Where there has to have been somebody that says like, I am a strong African-American male. I do want to buy property here in Charlottesville. I do want to create businesses. So why aren't they brought to the forefront? Or why is it that they may feel that if I come to the forefront, then I'll be ostracized and attacked?
You know, I have no idea. I mean, I understand that that a lot of Black men feel that if they are in the presence of a very self-assured Black woman,
say so. Speak
that
on
they
it.
don't.
Here we go, y'all.
They don't want to be in that room.
Hey,
here we go.
And I think I can speak for myself and Dr. Douglas and Mama P at this point, saying we're gonna be who we gonna be. You know, like neither one of us is dimming our light for anybody. Okay. So yeah, if you come in, like you gotta be ready to, you know, stand in that room and hold your own.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
That's right. And
you know,
sometimes that's difficult.
And that's very true. Sometimes it is, but you know, I'm also wondering whether or not it's not so much that men don't want to or are intimidated by working alongside women in this type of work or advocacy, but it's more so that men just simply, there are fewer men that are simply less interested in this type of work.
Well, I don't know if it's less interesting, but I do know that, we know that Black men are seen as a threat no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what position they are in, no matter how they're dressed.
That's true.
Or, what car they drive, in someone's eyes, they are seen as a threat.
Yeah.
And that's real. And,
the work's not for the faint.
I can't fault anybody for doing that risk assessment and saying, you know what, I'm gonna work behind the scenes over here, because if I step up, I'm gonna become the story, and that's not what we want.
I know Charles is getting ready to transfer over to a new topic, but I also it's kind of confusing because, like you said, y'all not gonna dim your light, and Black men are viewed as a threat. But the problem is everybody wants a masculine man until he shows up.
You know what? I have a thing that I say all the time. So if we're doing theater stuff and I need something lifted or moved or whatever, I will literally walk in a room and yell, "I need a big strong man!"
Yeah.
And I wait to see who stands up.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know what? It's been almost, we're starting 10 years.
Yeah.
I ain't seen a big strong man stand up and walk in the store and say what you need and stay there. Right? It's the staying part that matters. Right?
And Razor, that's twofold, because again, everybody wants somebody to step up, stand up, to be more engaged, until any given person decides to step forward, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a factor of acceptability. It doesn't just have to be wrapped in the right sex, male, female, but it's also the individual that steps forward.
Yeah, and Miss Max, it's also about the reciprocity too. It's like we need to respect each other. Like there needs to be a mutual respect of that's your strength and this is my strength.
Absolutely.
We don't have that.
And that's what I'm saying.
We don't have that in the Black community.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the three of us, we played to our strengths, right? There are certain things that Miss Puryear is better at than the two of us. There are certain conversations that she's able to have with people that we can't, and so, whoever wants to step up, like we will find a place. Trust me, there is more than enough work to be done. Okay. Like whether you're bringing time, talent, or treasure, like, come on, let's go.
Right. So does the Heritage Center have very many partners that are in the community that are kind of reaching across the aisle or what have you, and trying to work with you to help to promote your mission?
What I will say is that a lot of people don't understand what partnership is. Right. And when you are a Black organization concerned with the lives and experiences of Black people, and you are surrounded by dozens of white-led organizations who, for whatever reason, have all of a sudden decided, oh wow, you mean there's racism? Partnership looks very different to them than it does to us. Right.
That's a good point.
And because we are a Black-led organization concerned with Black people, we have to be very careful. Like, you don't want to feel, it's not that you want to turn down anything. Like absolutely you need money and other resources to keep the doors open and the lights on. But at the same time, you don't want to feel grimy when you go home either.
That's that integration.
Right.
And integration, I've said it many, many times. We were supposed to integrate our money and not our Black bodies.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I do want to shout out, couple of the brothers that I see helping out doing the work over there. Folks like Ike Anderson,
Yes.
programs, Brother Remy St. Clair.
Yes.
Even Brother A.D. Carson, Dr. A.D. Carson.
Yes.
So, I definitely wanted to say that because there's brothers, helping out. I don't want anybody that's unfamiliar to be like, ain't no man out there doing anything.
And I'll shout out a few more. We got Todd Carter, Brandon Lee, Mark Williams. There are Black men who show up. There are Black men that I can call and be like, yo, I need this taken to this place. Or, hey, we got to put out, 150 chairs for this next event. Can you stop? Absolutely, there are those people. But I also know that in our regular volunteer rotation,
right.
there are 2 men. 2. And
Now you ain't just talking about a strong back though, right?
No, I'm not talking about a strong back.
Okay, I heard carrying chairs and
2 volunteers. They come in and show up for a 2-hour shift to sit at the desk.
Okay, gotcha.
Dude. And when I'm mingle up.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So there are all kinds of ways to help this organization that don't involve, hard labor.
Gotcha.
There's all kinds of stuff, the guys in Prolific.
Yeah.
Anything we need, they show up. Anything we need, they show up on the regular.
That's what's up.
So there are. I don't want it to seem like there are no men, but
Yeah, no, I feel you. So this is what we're gonna do, Leslie, if it's cool with you, since that was such an enriching conversation. Just talking about your year goals for next year and people contacting you. How about we end the hour like that and then we come back with you? Right at the top of the next hour, and we'll focus that on the Kwanzaa celebration.
Sounds good.
All right. Any final words on the discussion so far?
No, I've talked enough.
All right.
Y'all in trouble. That's what's going on.
You know how we do. Hey, Miss Maxie, can you take us to break?
Yeah, sure. Just quick and sweet. Don't go anywhere, family. We'll be right back. More conversation.
I'm gonna check the door. Who's supposed to come in at 1?
1:30 is
1:30. Okay.
Prolific.
Gotcha.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
Well, for 101 Jam today, there's some Anthony's Kitchen. It's some food eatery inside the dairy market. You can try their exclusive fried fish, shrimp wrapped in gravy.
I meant to come in front of
And so much more. And if you need a food truck,
All right. Sir Charles Razor, Miss Max AA Ron. About to do the thing one more time. One more again. Here we go, y'all.
All right.
Here we go. IMHO Talk Show. We are here, still standing. Beautiful people. Ooh, getting a little bit of noise somewhere. There we go. Got it. Little high noise on my headphones, people. But yeah, it could be
driving crazy up there.
Right?
Could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with us, Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor, AA Ron, and we are still joined by none other than the illustrious Leslie Scott Jones.
Illustrious.
I know, I like that.
Good.
Oh, you know, to my normal.
Oh, Charles,
right.
bring him out there.
You know I'm gonna dress it up for you. So Leslie, we are delighted that you all are choosing to continue the celebration of some core principles when it comes to the African diaspora.
Yes.
So tell us about what we can expect for this year's Kwanzaa celebration.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. So, you know, we do a lot of work with diasporic, just events. You know, we try to make sure that people understand the vastness of the diaspora. And so this year we realized that we've done a lot with Caribbean stuff, right? But we haven't gone to the other side. We haven't gone home to the motherland. So for this Kwanzaa, we are bringing an Ifa Awo, a priest. Ifa is a Western African religion, reportedly the very first religion of the world. And we're bringing a priest, actually my priest, Baba Karade, from New Jersey, and he's going to do a presentation about traditional African religion, play some congas for us.
Okay.
And he's going to do a traditional libation in Yoruba.
Okay.
We're also going to have Black business vendors.
Okay. Good stuff.
And then we're also going to have a huge craft table for the kids to make presents for their parents. And our wonderful friend Rochelle Claiborne is running that. So she got some stuff planned, y'all. It's necklaces, all kind. She sent me the list of stuff. I was like, oh my God, why do we need 3 pounds of macaroni?
We ready.
But she ready. She ready.
So what you're telling me is that I got a babysitter while I listen to the priest.
That's right.
Now let me ask you a question. When you said something, I don't know why it resonated with me so hard, but you said you traditionally went Caribbean and now we're going African.
Yeah, because
this will be why I say that, right?
Okay.
I think as a whole for our people, it's more palatable to associate yourselves with the Caribbean than it is straight with Africa.
Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha.
But I mean, and it's also you know, just linked to lineage, right? I mean, Dr. Douglas is Jamaican.
Yeah,
you know, so that's the part of the diaspora that she is the most, you know, connected to and knows the most about, right?
And the fact is too, Leslie, that the majority of Africans went to the Caribbean, went to the Indies first.
Absolutely.
We forget about that. We didn't come. Most of us didn't come straight to Jamestown.
Absolutely.
No, Charles. What we forget about is the fact of where we left off from instead of where we landed.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
that's
part of the problem.
So, you know, I started my journey in this religion a little over 5 years ago, and it has brought me a peace and a grounding that nothing else has.
Now, when you say religion, what are you referring to?
The religion is called Ifa, I-F-A.
Okay.
And it originated from Nigeria.
Okay.
And so I was like, let's bring a little bit of that because and Baba is a musician himself. He plays bass and drums, and so he was actually joking with us a while ago. He has so many musicians in the house. He's like, we need to start our own band. I was like, all right, what's stopping us?
Does he play? Has he participated in the Chihamba Festival?
No, because he lives in New Jersey.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he lives in New Jersey. But he did do a libation for our virtual Kwanzaa event 2 years ago.
Okay.
So he's been involved here before, and there are several members of his temple that live here in Charlottesville. So we're excited that he's gonna be able to come in and see us.
Yeah.
Instead of us going to see him.
Yeah. And so before we get to the principles, because we want to make sure we speak to the entire audience, for those who may not know, what Kwanzaa is definitely about. But, to the point you're making though, right before we get to that, I think it's very important because me personally, I believe that God, the creator, is universal.
Yes.
Right. I believe the name that we give him or the way that we worship, and I say him generally, I say him generally, it's more of a spirit thing, but just the way that we worship, what religion or belief system we may associate with, I feel like that's always a personal thing.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like the Almighty is a universal. Right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes we get wrapped up in different languages, different cultures, and try to westernize, other cultures.
Yes.
Bondage.
We
believe in bondage.
Right.
Yeah. So in saying that, what do you say to the folks who? Because I get it. I know everybody got it, Max. They say, so you celebrate Kwanzaa, you don't celebrate Christmas, then like Kwanzaa is the Black people's Christmas. So people get that thing all misconstrued.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell us more about Kwanzaa and the principle.
Sure. So Kwanzaa was created in 1966.
I can hear somebody now. No, I believe in the Holy Ghost.
Right? There's always a thing.
She said, "Not my Jesus." She said, "Not my Jesus."
Hey Max. Those are the same people they can't even do yoga because they say, "Oh no."
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Christian yoga ain't Christian.
Right. Yes.
But that's a great point because prayer is meditation. No matter how you do it, you connect it to the spirit.
If you're doing it right.
Right. If you're doing it right. Yeah.
It's all about connection.
That's right.
So there are 7 principles. So I'm not great at pronouncing, especially the second one, because that's the hard one.
Reza help you out.
But we won't.
She gotta walk them sayings on her.
See, what were we talking about earlier? Black men ain't willing to look at that.
See that? Look, see that?
That's fine.
I know my lane. I'm sitting back.
Okay. So the first one is umoja, which means unity, and it is about striving for and maintaining unity in the family and community. All right, this is the hard one. Kujichagulia.
That sounds right.
I said it.
There you go.
Get
it for Liz.
Stay it fast. They'll never know.
Right.
That's right.
Self-determination to define and name ourselves as well as to create and speak for ourselves. Ujima, collective work and responsibility to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. Ujama, cooperative economics to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses and to profit from them together. Nia means purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Kuumba, creativity, to do always as much as we can in the way that we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it.
Yes.
And finally, Imani, faith. To believe with all our hearts in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle.
Hey, I got a question.
Hey, Ron.
Is it GG?
So, and I appreciate all the great work that she's doing at the Jefferson Center, and I just have to ask this question. So, number 3.
Yes.
That is one that to me, I think, and I think it's important that we talk about this on the radio, is that not just for the holiday, but that's one that I think black people, we don't take very seriously enough. And I just want you to expound on, as a community, why do we not take it serious that the way that our communities look, and people are not going to like this, is it doesn't matter what happened, but it's our responsibility for what they look like now. Because so many times we're looking for someone else to solve the problem when they could have came in and burned the whole thing down, but I don't expect them to come and make it better. We have to make it better. Can you talk about that mentality a little bit, not only from a historical standpoint, but from what we're seeing today?
Hey, real quick. I don't know if you have headphones or little feedback from you.
Okay, I'll mute.
Thank you for that. Because I think it also touches on one of the reasons that there aren't more Black faces on a regular basis inside the Heritage Center. And there are a few ways that that's happened historically, right? So let's just take a story that everybody is familiar with or should be familiar with at this point, Vinegar Hill. So when Vinegar Hill was raised, not all of, but most of the people that lived there were moved into government subsidized housing.
That's right.
Right? They were sold a bill of goods. Oh, this place is new. It's going to be so great. This is going to be a step up from where you live in now. This is going to be amazing. And they made it sound so great that very few of those people looked any further into what was going to happen and how it was going to happen. Right. So they get moved into this housing development, and then they realize it's government housing. So there are all these restrictions on what they can do in their own house, who can live in their house, right? And fast forward 70 years.
That's right.
There are still the grandchildren of those people living in those apartments because they can't get out, right? They put them in a situation that was intended to control where they lived and what they could do with their life. And because they wanted something better so bad, they didn't question it and they got stuck, right? But the problem is that the generation after that got used to, oh, well, we can just yell loud enough and get what we want. We ain't got to do no work, right? We can just yell loud enough and they'll come and fix this immediate problem. And so and it's happened in communities all across the country, right? Where the same thing has happened to Black communities. And we get stuck in this like welfare mindset, right? Where it's like, oh, you owe me. What do you owe to yourself?
You're preaching right now.
Right? What do you owe to yourself? And what does that work entail for you to achieve it?
Well, let me ask you this. Going off of what Aaron said and what we need to implement, what have we lost as a community? Because this is,
I don't think you can measure it.
But you have to in order to be able to fix it.
But I don't think you can measure it because there are so many avenues that the loss walks in. Right. So it's
and did we even lose? Did we even lose something?
Right. It was absolutely taken. Right. But we can't measure it because we don't know what the path would have looked like otherwise.
And Razor,
I think we do.
But Razor, you know what you always say about how our money was meant to be integrated and not our bodies.
Right.
Same kind of thing is that like what Leslie just described when it comes to housing displacement, like that, like we've lost equity and a chance at wealth. Like that's what we lost because when you don't own anything, like then you got people that have what we talking about 400-year head start on.
Yeah, but y'all talking about the result. Y'all not talking about the. I always think that it goes down to I never know of a civilization that's strong without strong men. Like I don't know of one that has thrived without strong men.
Well, I don't think this particularly is a gender thing. You know what I'm saying? What I think is that what we lost in that is immeasurable because taking that property, that self-determination from those people, then trickled down to their children and their grandchildren.
But look at who was supposed to go out and get it though.
I don't think
from back when it happened.
But that's not just a man's responsibility. That's what Kwanzaa is telling us. It's not just a man's responsibility. It's the community's responsibility, right? So there is no, we can't play the blame game there. Like we're all culpable. And because we're all culpable, we all have to be part of that solution.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason that Imani faith is on that seventh day, because that's one thing like that we know to celebrate. Like that's the one thing that we've had through it all, right?
Yeah.
So that's one reason why it saddens me, and I'm so glad to hear, even you, Leslie, talking about a faith that you feel connected, I'm like to your source through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's so important because in so many ways the world is so trying, like you see, it's culturally and generationally sort of losing that spiritualness.
Absolutely.
And of course, when they say love of money, root of all evil, money has the root of all evil, love of it. Because once we get, and it's sad because we need knowledge is power, but I see us getting so much education sometimes and then so much money sometimes, then we become carnal. Like we lose the faith.
And here's the thing, what I think Kwanzaa is supposed to re-infuse into us for the new year is a new perspective, a different way of thinking. In Africa, everything is communal.
Yes.
Everything is communal. There are no doors. You know what I'm saying? Right. There are no doors on your dwelling. Not because they can't afford it. It ain't that. It's because everything that you create goes towards the community's survival first. Right. That is a different way of thinking. Right. So I had a friend of mine who did 3 years in Uganda. And they placed him in this apartment complex, right? No doors, right? He left to go run an errand and he left like a bowl of fruit on his kitchen table. And when he came back, all the fruit was gone. And he was mad for me, like big mad. Like,
I'm mad for him.
I was about to say, raise his stomach started growling.
But he realized I'm part of the community.
Yeah.
Somebody walked by and they were hungry. They took what they needed. That's what community is about, right? And like if you are living in an African village and you have a job outside the village, when you get your paycheck, it comes back and it goes in a communal pot, and everyone decides what gets purchased to the betterment of the community.
That's right.
Right? Kwanzaa was a way to infuse that into Africans in America. To get us to change the way we think about how we are interacting with a white supremacist system that was not built for us.
Say so.
Right?
3/5 of me.
We are communal people living in a society, especially in the United States, that does not know how to do that. But it's in our DNA to do that.
You on my street list.
Yeah, we were calling that.
You on my street.
Yeah, we were calling that.
Right? Mind and body.
And to Aaron's point too, with that third, the corporate economics, the Yama being so important, that fits right into what you're talking about too. Is the collective work and responsibility, like those two go so hand in hand, because it's because inherently that's who we are, and to me, like that's my favorite, like the regime of the collective work and responsibility.
And I don't necessarily believe in the whole Black capitalist thing, because capitalism is one of the main principles of white supremacy, and I think when you go down that road, you're kind of recreating what colonized you. But I also understand we all need money to eat.
Yeah.
You know, we all gotta have a roof over our head. We all gotta put shoes on feet. We all gotta have a car to get from point A to point B. I get that. But I think what we lose is when we start chasing the quote unquote American dream. Well, guess what? That American dream was born when we were the ones building everything and they were the ones benefiting from it.
Yes, indeed.
Why would you subscribe to a dream that did not include you benefiting from it?
What you got, Razor?
I didn't even, like, she shut me down. That's
she answered it?
Yeah. Well, no. It's because I hear it, because Charles and I always go through conversations with people where some people feel that we can't connect across the room. Like, we have to do it ourselves, right? So then for a person who doesn't know how to understand that mindset,
right,
they isolate themselves with no resources, right? And that was one of the things, and I know people are gonna get upset at me when I say this, when we were talking about there's going to be a civil war again, black, white, and I was like, we don't want that, right? Because our mindset is not geared to do that. Most of us don't know how to fish without going to the grocery store. We don't know how to plant anything. We don't know how to grow anything, right? So we've become consumers when our ancestors were actually the ones that taught everybody. Exactly.
They were builders.
You know, so when it comes to what you were saying, like when you're breaking this whole thing down, what Aaron's saying about self-sufficiency, right? I don't know, and I hate saying this, I don't know that we're at a point where we can understand self-sufficiency without having somebody do it for you.
I know.
So at that point, when we talk about the principles and we try to interject this into people, it becomes more of a, I'm gonna do it for a week and not for a lifestyle.
Yes, exactly.
So at that point, what do we do to where we don't make our children feel ostracized because they want to follow? We don't celebrate Halloween. We have a 7-year-old that kept coming home to me and my wife saying, look, hey, I want all that. Goons, goblins, witches, everything, right? So when it comes to things that can benefit their life, like Kwanzaa, how do we interject our kids into a society to where they can't even pick their faces up out their phones? Not even realizing that not even Americans are interjecting what they're looking at, but the people that created the phone. They're not doing in their community what they're giving us over here. So then we're also setting the black children back another step with people that they don't even see. So how do we interject who we originally are and make them feel proud in that and exercise that on a daily basis?
Well, I think that it's consistency.
Don't make it complicated, Leslie. Don't make it complicated, because it's really not.
No. It's not complicated at all. It's consistency, right? If you celebrate Kwanzaa in your house, it can be as simple as that night before everybody goes to bed, you light the candle, you talk about the principle that's for that day, and you just ask the question to your child. Hey, how are you doing that in your life? Is that important to you? Why isn't it important to you? Should it be important to you? Have the question and then send them to bed. If they're listening, they will listen.
And let's not even overlook the indirect or the subconscious, because like one thing, that we've done, besides celebrating, and through the week and everything, all the festivities, but like we have a calendar by our door. We go outside, and just the simple fact of just writing, like the theme for each day on that calendar.
Absolutely.
Like people in your house are gonna see that. When you have guests, they're gonna see it. So you're working indirectly, through the subconscious, but it's still planting a seed.
Let me tell you, my daughter. So I love Nina Simone. Yes. Right. To me, she is a goddess. There should be an altar to her. That's how much I like her. I call her Mama Nina. And when my daughter was growing up, I listened to a lot of Nina. Right. To this day, my daughter listens to Nina Simone.
Right.
Because she heard it in her house all the time.
That's right.
My daughter listens to Ella Fitzgerald, and you know, like all of Nancy Wilson, all of those, because she heard them in my house, right? So even when we're battling, right, when, you know, because, you know, mothers and daughters, we fight. So even when we're battling, I know that there is a core connection for us because of what she heard on a daily basis in my house.
That's deep.
Everything else is the same. It's the same.
Right.
It's not complicated.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
If every night you have a conversation with your child about what things are important for them to take with them as they go through life, you have that conversation every night, whether it's a principle of Kwanzaa or not.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
it could be talking about, hey, you know, Billy stole my lunch money. What we doing about that? How we gonna handle that?
Tragedy.
You want me to handle that? Or you want to try first? Right? Anyway, but that nightly conversation is a foundation that you're setting in your house that your child is going to take with them for the rest of their life. It's not complicated. It just literally takes 10 minutes out of your day every day.
And
What she's
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I'll talk quick because of the feedback, but what she's saying is that you determine the culture of your home.
That's right.
But and then therefore that extends to your community. I want everybody to think about that. Starts in your home, then starts in your community. That was really great. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and the Ujima, you know, as we wrap up, Leslie, you make sure the folks know the date and time and everything for the festivities. But you know, like Reza, Max, Aaron, like that's why that's so important. And it's almost a contradiction within itself, like oxymoron, because it says Ujima is collective work and responsibility.
Yes.
I just wanted to end with that because so many times, like we're always looking for a leader. Like we're always looking for someone to tell us what to do when we know what to do. You follow me, Reza?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like while we're doing the collective work, there's still a responsibility. Like so you know, I think that was very purposeful. That principle was used.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dr. Malik, he was a PhD. Like this was not, you know, Joe Blow off the street that hadn't thought this through. You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you how connected I was to Kwanzaa before any of this. My daughter's name is Nia.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
You know,
says it all.
And she loves to hear the story about how I named her and how her name means purpose. Right? And every time I told her that story, or she asked to hear that story, the last thing I said to her was, you have a purpose. It's in your name. And it's your job to figure out what that purpose is.
There you go.
That's
there
it.
you go.
You know?
Yeah. Family, we have been joined by Miss Leslie Scott Jones of the Jefferson School African American Heritage Center. And we've been talking about their year and their goals for next year. And membership, y'all. Don't forget membership. CVILLE Jeff
Individual
School.
membership is only $25. A family membership is $60. Come on, y'all. Y'all got $25. Come on.
You got it. So Leslie, though, I don't think you mentioned yet, where can they find more information about the Kwanzaa celebration and when is it?
Absolutely. It is December 26th from 1 to 5. And you can find all the information on our events page of our website, jeffschoolheritagecenter.org/events. And if you are the owner and operator of a Black business and you would like to table for the event, we would love to have you.
Let's do it, right?
You can email me at publicprograms@jeffschoolheritagecenter.org.
There we go. Leslie, always a pleasure. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. I love hanging out with y'all. Anytime.
And when you need a strong mind, call me. We need a strong back, call Razor.
Absolutely.
All right.
When you need shea butter, call A-Rod.
Wow.
You know what, A-Rod? I got some organic shea butter for you. It'll knock you off your feet.
Be glistening all over my body.
You broke out all over your back.
Hey, don't threaten Aaron with a good time.
You ain't never lied.
All right, family. Tell a friend. We will be right back, and we only midway through this thing. IMHO year in review, and don't want to miss it. We're going to be joined by none other than the prolific Run Crew. Talking about Ill Will, my man Littles. Man, we streaming broadcasting worldwide right now. IMHO Talk Show, family.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
In my humble opinion, only on 101.3 Jams.
I to the ism, H to the Izzo Talk Show. You know what it is. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Aaron, Razor. I'm sorry, Razor, I put Aaron's name before you.
No, that's all right. Sometimes I gotta bring it back.
Yeah, just get back to what we supposed to do. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Hey, Aaron, man, what's up with your headphones, bro? You gotta turn the speakers down. Use some headphones, man. What's going on? Man, the brother moved further south, lose his mind. The heat getting to him.
That's it.
Love you, bro. Love you, bro. But hey, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us right now. We're gonna make it do what it do for this year in review of 2022. And you know, we like I said, jam-packed show, and we're so delighted to celebrate our people, all that's going on, man. You know, and so much to look forward to, right? No matter what's, you know, no matter what life presents us and what's going on right now, we are in holiday season. Hopefully it's a time of giving. That's why I wanted to shout out, you know, all of our folks in the community doing their thing. You know, there's so many, too many to name. You know, you can go through, I'm sure the brothers here with me that we're about to introduce from Prolific Run Crew, Brother Will, Brother Littles, that they're going to chime in on it more. But, you know, you can, whether you follow Uhuru Foundation, whether you follow Dream Clothing, whether you follow, Peace in the Streets, whether you follow Prolific, you know, there's so much that's going on in our community. And, you know, shouts out to the sisters, Ayana, Brian as well, you know, folks and keeping that focus on the youth and the teenagers, making sure, you know, that everybody's accounted for. So, you know, so no matter who you follow, who you watching, man, there's so many ways to help. And that's why we're delighted to have none other than my brothers from the Prolific Run Crew with us right now, talking about Littles, talking about Ill Will, my brothers.
Yo.
Man, so, man, you know, for one, thank y'all, man. And like, please, like, do us the pleasure for the folks who you may be new to or otherwise, but just give them, you know, the breakdown of who Prolific is. I'm sure most listen, but hey, it may be a new listener out there. And then, man, like just some of y'all year in review, some of the highlights from the Prolific year, because I've been seeing y'all doing it big.
Man, thank y'all for having us. Yeah, Prolific Run Crew. We started back in 2019. We start every run from the Jefferson School African American Heritage Center. So shouts out to Leslie, shouts out to Dr. Andrea Douglas for allowing us to hold space there. They've been supportive of us since we started, and with all intent, we start from the Jefferson School on purpose, running through all the Black and brown communities of Charlottesville, the marginalized communities, and where Charlottesville literally placed our people at. So we run through that to highlight those folks, to highlight those Black and brown people and individuals and African Americans in Charlottesville, Virginia, to let them know that they do matter, we do matter, and that's why we do what we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday is the party, but we start at 6 a.m. The walkers leave around about 5:50, 10 minutes earlier, and we all finish together as a collective. And that's what we start and finish every Monday and Wednesday, Friday at the Jefferson School. So you can show up. It's no registration, none of that. We do it with community pace. If you want to run fast, you can do that as well. If you want to walk slow, that's perfectly fine as well. You can bring your bikes out there, and we're doing it together, man. So that's what it's about, togetherness, and we just keeping that motive going into 2023.
Yeah, there we go. And Brother Will, man, like I would love for you to touch on the philosophy behind it, my man, because I always love hearing your, like your perceptions and stuff, man, because I know that you also do things where the brothers and the folks, and I know the ladies do as well, but you have, like the groups that get together outside of the running. So if you could talk a little bit more about some of the programs that you guys have started.
Yeah. So one small thing that we started that is a major thing for us. We do kids crew on Wednesdays, and it's just families getting together and breaking bread. We were primarily gathering at Forest Hill Park during the summer, and now that it's getting a little colder, we go inside. But we gather in these, all these families are getting to know each other a lot better. Our kids are playing with each other, and through COVID, it was a way for our kids to really be social when school was out and all of that. So it was something that we started, and we've kept it going, and it does so much for our community to have this opportunity for kids to be able to play, witness their parents talking and even playing with them. So that was one of the things that we started early on. Now we just did we have the teen gift cards that's going on now. And during these holiday seasons, people often are giving toys and stuff to children, and so our teenagers get forgotten a lot of time. And so we had Juanika Howard and our brother Chris Cochran. They led up the teen gift card kind of gathering for this 3 years. Littles,
Yep,
they've been
this is
doing
the
this.
third year doing it. They partnered with all the local high schools, and we raised enough funds where we were able to get back to the middle schools as well, Beaufort, Hugo, Murray, and
That's great
as well. So yeah, we were able to, gift a little more to the preteens as well this year, just from the funding that they raised. And it's going on year 3. They started it during COVID because clearly, school was virtual. So it was that disconnect with the teens as well. And they was, looking for, an outlet as us adults was as well during, being locked up in the house. So, just an ongoing initiative that they created that we back them with. And, we were able to, give to over 100 preteens and teens this year as well.
That's what's up. That's so dope. And so when people are joining, just so they know, so is there like any kind of a membership open to the public? And then when it comes to raising those funds, man, like I don't know if you want to shout out, but like where that support comes from, if people want to make donations.
So we, one of the reasons that running is important to us is because it's something that you can do regardless of like your athleticism, regardless of your condition and your body. You can walk or run. And so we believe in trying to make this thing free to our people for forever. So there is no membership. There is no, you don't have to pay. You come out and walk, you come out and run, and then you become a part of this family. We figure out a way to raise some money. We figure out a way to pull in funds, but we aren't charging people. We want to be able to make our movement, our community service, we want to be free and accessible to all of our people. So there is no excuses.
I got a question real quick, Charles. Where you going?
Hey, Razor, before you chime in though, like I still want y'all to give that contact info though, because it could be somebody out here with deep pockets saying I want to support that.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
we ain't gonna leave money on the table.
Oh no, I wasn't saying don't donate. I was saying that we don't charge people.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so if you go to our website, PROLYFYCK.com, there's the contact information on there that you reach out directly, email. As far as a live donate button, we don't have that active live right now on our website. However, the Jefferson Schools backs us as well as far as a fiscal sponsor, because we aren't, I do want to set the record straight, we aren't active as a nonprofit for those curious about that. However, the Jefferson School is our fiscal sponsor for us as well. So we, for those that need to donate for tax deductible purposes and those things, that they can funnel through the Jefferson School with the memo of Prolific. And then we also have a Prolific Run Crew Venmo account set up through our LLC. That's Prolific Run Crew, and a Cash App as well, which is Prolific.
Yeah, and the gear too, right? Like so they can go on the website, and if they buy some gear, it goes through that. Okay, cool.
They can support us through purchasing gear, and that's all active on our website as well in the merch tab. So if you go to our website, PROLYFYCK.com, it'll navigate you to where you need to be.
That's what's up, bro.
Got a question for y'all real quick.
And how are we spelling prolific, Richard? Just real quick, so we're not taking money to the wrong folks.
Yeah, true that.
PROLYFYCK.
Hey, good point, man. Now we understand that running is the glue that binds everything for y'all, right? But I also, because I'm a fan and I watch everything that y'all do, where's the pressure come in at when people want y'all to create more things? Like you said, the youth, the teenagers, right? To always be on the crest of helping the community, because everybody, most of us had something that we wanted to do during the pandemic, undoing the hardships of the summer pain, and you know what I'm saying, everything. A lot of us created things during that time frame. But like Leslie said earlier, it's the sustaining which really counts. What kind of pressure do y'all feel from just the community wanting y'all to create the next prolific, so to speak?
That's deep.
Yeah. I don't really feel pressure to be anything other than myself. So I'm not really chasing anything in that way. I'm not really trying to be something to people necessarily. I'm not really trying to do that. I'm really just trying to be myself. Prolific came out of me being myself. Like, the way that we run, the places that we run, the culture in which we run through the streets, like that was just me being myself. And so I don't really feel the pressure to make another something. I mean, especially through COVID, man, I've become real comfortable with myself, and how I operate and what I'm good at. And so I don't feel the pressure to be anything else. I do what's natural, and all of our stuff has been organic. We feel the need, we see a need, and if we can be something to that need, then we jump in. But we don't try to do something that ain't us.
That's good.
Just to make it work. Like there have been things that we've been asked to do and be like, nah, they ain't really for me. They ain't my lane, man. I think that that's important so that you don't, because you'll start to burn bridges when you start doing stuff that ain't who you really are, because you can't do it. It's just not realistic. And so to me, I think it's best to try to be your most authentic self, and that'll allow your relationships to stay pure, because our community needs to see honesty. Yes. And so when they see you start to wear yourself thin, you start to look dishonest, and you start to be people that they can't trust. And so they and it's not their fault. And so we lose a lot of respect in our communities by trying to be people that we not.
That was deep.
What's Prolific's message? Like, what is it that you hope the people in the community knows or sees about this group or this group's mission? And what is it that you hope that they get from the group, whether they Are bystanders watching a group of guys or girls run by, or actually participating?
I think it's hard that they get just one message, but honestly, I hope that people believe that they can do whatever they put their heart to. I hope that people believe that community is important. I hope that people believe and are able to see that our gifts make room for us and bring us before great men. And so, you know, we just are ourselves, you know what I mean? And it made a difference. It has gained attention. I'm a regular dude running his dogs through the city. And for some reason, and there are many reasons that contribute to it, but for some reason it has gained some attention that has sparked a real fire in the community that has made a big difference in individuals' lives. Maybe not our whole community yet, maybe not the whole Charlottesville city can see it that way, but the individuals that rock with what we do, their lives have been affected in ways that, you know, you can't really measure. And so I hope that they talk to those people and they see that we can really do whatever we put our hearts to and our minds to, and be inspired. I really just started running. I think that's one of the things I say in the small documentary we did. I really just started running, and all of this has happened because somebody just started running through our community.
Nice. So the documentary you're talking about, that's already available, or are you working on it?
No, we did a series called Who Is a Runner with Brooks. Brooks is a shoe company. They did Who Is a Runner, and it was a 4-part series. We were one of the parts on it. And so it's like an 8-minute documentary. It's on YouTube. Y'all can check it out. It's really dope. Go ahead, Lewis.
And I was going to say that's something maybe we can touch on about leading into next year that we're planning on putting together for the Charlottesville community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So where you go from here?
Right. For sure. So we're actually coming up on our 2-year anniversary of the film. So I believe it's sometime in the spring when they filmed it. It came out the summer of 2021. So coming up on the 2-year anniversary. However, we haven't been able to screen it here in Charlottesville yet. It's been accepted to over 20 film festivals across the nation. In Brazil. We went up to the Detroit Black Film Festival and got flown out to Oakland to screen it. And when we come on the way back from Oakland, we realized that we've been to 2 cities and we haven't even screened it here in Charlottesville yet. So we reached out to Brooks to get their support to put on the film free of charge for the entire Charlottesville community to come out and see it. So we're working on that date, but it will be the beginning of next year. And like I said, free for everyone. And we'll be able to, discuss how the screen, came to life and the lives that is affected in the screen as well. So
that's
Hey, Charles, I got a question for them. All right, let's jump gears here for a second. Pushing yourself, because Prolific is a movement, you know what I'm saying, and people support it, right? Let's talk about on a personal level, the running, what it's done for you. Y'all jokers went out the marathon, right?
Yeah, you've been doing multiple. Shouts out to everybody.
So when y'all started doing that, tell the level of commitment you have to give to yourself. Like you said, you were just a guy that just started running with his dog. But when you jump into the level of a marathon, what did that do for you, the internal man? Either one of you.
So my story probably won't align with the hard work in the same way. Because when I started running, man, I was just running. Just get outside, run. I got my dogs, I'm just running. And we would run half marathons just around Charlottesville, we had just grown to that place where it was fun to try to run a half marathon. So we would be doing that. Some homies had ran a half marathon in Richmond during COVID, and it made me want to go up and support them. And then I realized, oh shoot, I never even thought about running a marathon. That wasn't a desire of mine. I just was running, bro. I wasn't trying to get no numbers or nothing off of this. But when I heard somebody taking this challenge in Charlottesville, this big dude, I can't think of his name right now, played basketball in the city. He was like, I'm gonna go run the marathon. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. And so I just was like, I can do whatever I put my mind to. And so for the next 3 weeks, I just tried to run for 3 hours. And then I went and ran a marathon, and I ran it in 3.5 hours, and I almost died. I almost died. But what it made me realize is you can do whatever you put your mind to. It might cost you something, but you could do it. And if you don't quit, you could finish. And so I learned a lot from that. And then the next marathon I prepared, and the training is hard, bro. Like, but this marathon experience, and why I want our community to really experience running this way, is because it's so synonymous with life. Like, you start a race and you really excited about it, and you got every plan on finishing, and you get halfway through, 3/4 through a race, and it's like, man, why the hell did I start doing that? I can't even believe that I signed up for this stupid crap. I actually paid for this. and then you remember that your people is at the finish line and they waiting for you.
Hey, that's what I was thinking, man. It's like, it's about, he asked about internal. Like, I can just imagine that so much of it is the camaraderie. It's like, not only not letting yourself down, but you got brothers and sisters.
And they waiting for you at that line, man. And so it calls you to finish. It causes you to push yourself. And then the way that we run, we show up for you. We come and get you. And so you're not doing it by yourself. And then when you get that battery in your back, you really can run faster than you even thought you could toward the end. It's like, I was ready to die, and now I'm running faster than my pace was. And so this community experience is like, if we could feel this in real life, if we could take that run experience and then start to be this way in our lives, and be there and show up for each other when it get hard. So that's what it taught me. You know, the training is dope, and it builds this camaraderie because you're in the trenches with somebody. But this marathon experience is so synonymous with life that I think we all need to experience that.
It shows you how to approach life. Like, when you're out here doing the 12-week training plan, and then you approach that race day, and then it get hard. Like, early on, it gets tough, but you learn to fight. Like, I gotta finish. And when you approach these obstacles in life, like, this translates into, you know, how you live on a daily basis with run. Like, it's hard not to think we just out there running, but black people ain't running in the cold. Like, we ain't running. Like, what you out, man? They be like, Littles, man, what you doing out there running? I'm like, yo, it's making me a better man in life. Like, that's what I really hear. Like,
love it.
I don't even pay attention to how many miles we running anymore during the weekly basis, because I know my real on coming out there. Like, the intent was to make myself a better person. After each run, my day's completely better. And that's what I preach about. You know, when people are like, man, I don't run, I'm like, man, I don't even really want to use that word no more. Because I know what what it relates to in our community.
So
y'all's message got me motivated. Like, in my mind, I feel like I can run too. Like, in my mind. I don't know when I get out there what's gonna happen, but in my mind.
Emphasize that thing, Max. In my mind. She said, like, temptations of
yes, sir. It is Christmas time.
Yes, indeed. Hey, so we are joined by our prolific run crew members, Littles and Will. And we up against the hour, so we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, y'all, let's make sure that we let folks know about you know, the toy and gift drives you have coming up, and also about end of the year. I know you guys are organizing another men's social, so let's make sure we talk about that on the other side of the hour. You got IMHO Talk Show with Prolific Run Crew, man. Stay tuned. Much more show left to go. IMHO.
Word.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
Here we go. Get off the IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor in the booth in the building. Yeah, and appreciate your family. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us and the Prolific Run Crew. We have none other than Littles and Will with us right about now. Just had, as this year in review, man, Prolific was definitely one of the ones that we wanted to celebrate our people with, as we've been doing all show. And so one of the things that we've been talking about today, definitely been hyping, the resource, because that's one thing we don't have is a lack of community. And we've been talking about Kwanzaa, so we're talking about that cooperative economics, Razor, mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And the collaboration and responsibility and all the other principles. And so one of those things being is like these brothers are one of our people in the community that's doing toy drives, right, for the kids. Also gift cards for the teens, and I know there's another men's meeting coming up as well. I believe that's tomorrow evening. So yes, wanted you brothers to kind of shout out, your supporters and whatnot, of what you got going on this holiday season, and how folks who want to support can still be in touch and whatnot.
For sure. So Christy Jones, this is her third year hosting her toy drive over next door to us, actually at the Barber's Den. That's actually my brother's barbershop, Jamal Dow. So he's partnered with Christy Jones. This will be their third year. And Prolific just joined the force, joined to support them, raise funds. They had a GoFundMe out there, and it's for, all kids of all communities. You don't have to register or sign up. Just pull up, get you a toy, get you a bike, and, have a happy holiday.
That's what's up. Anything you want to add to that, Will?
The men's meeting, like even I guess I'll speak to this with the men's meeting. That was really an idea of Brother Ben Campbell and Anthony Hill. They wanted to start a men's group where we could just get together and talk. you know, the barbershop is is the men's group, you know what I mean? And so, you know, that wasn't something that we felt like we had to figure out. Like, that's who we are. You know what I'm saying? We had already been having these hard conversations and in these small spaces, but like to now do something on a bigger scale where we invite more people, it wasn't trying to be somebody else. It still is who we are, you know what I mean? And so we want our men to believe that that there are tools out here and that there are resources out here, and we want to be examples, you know what I mean? Like, we just are willing to be vulnerable. Like, we understand that vulnerability is what it's going to take. And so I have made changes in my life that all of us need to experience. I have come to learn things that all of us need to experience. And there are many more men that are like me. And so making a meeting where we can come together, and it's not an NA meeting or AA meeting or a church meeting, but it's just men who are in this community who are really trying to be better for themselves, for their brothers, for their women, for their mamas, you know, because the reality is this society has screwed us all up. And if we aren't willing to take a look in the mirror and be like, you know what, I am screwed up and I need to do some stuff to get better. And it's not like an attack against you. It's not like a knock against you. All of us are messed up. And as soon as we can actually accept that, then that's how we start working on ourselves and being better. So the men's meeting just came out of this, you know, this need. COVID got us all separated. I already have hard conversations with men, so it wasn't nothing for me to be willing to be vulnerable in that way. So we meet on Mondays. It's usually one Monday a month. It is tomorrow at 6 o'clock at UVA Equity Center. It's the yellow building on Main Street. It's upstairs on the 4th floor. Pull up. If you're brave enough as a man, pull up. If you're not brave enough, trust me, there's plenty of us in there that are not brave and that are trying really hard. I'm sorry, all of us are brave. There's plenty of us in there that are scared and don't know what this is really like. We don't know what to expect. But if we don't start trusting each other, we ain't never gonna start trusting each other. And so we gotta start somewhere as men to learn how to grow together and be healthy in ways so that we can be productive for our community in ways that's different than what used to be normal, because it wasn't enough. People didn't do enough in the past. And so I think that it's time for us to really go above and beyond as men and really clean up our act in ways that that's going to be beneficial for our children and for our families.
You know, and Miss Max, thank you about the chime in, but you know, I got to say this. Like, one thing I love about my brother Will is the authenticity, you know, and the transparency. You know, I gotta say that, because I feel like one thing that's held us back is sort of like the branding, right? Because I've even heard it about Prolific, you know, where people ask questions about, well, who's in charge of this and who does that and do that. But what I just heard you say, brother, was like, none of that matters. Like we get into the core of issues, we get into the core of people, and we're there to encourage each other. You know what I mean? Like, it don't matter what, you know, you ain't got to be a member. There's no registration, all that good stuff. Just pull up.
Yeah,
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. I think we on purpose have found ways to attack white supremacy. You know, the way that we run, white supremacy will have you run a race and you just worry about starting and finishing. But the way we run, we worry about encouraging. We worry about going back for each other. We trying to finish together. Like, it ain't no we all out here as individuals. Nah, we all in this together, and we all know it's about to suck, and we all know what it's going to take to finish. So we going to make sure that we encourage each other. If I'm running past you, I'm going to encourage you. If you run past me, I'm going to take that, and I'm not going to hate on you. I'm going to use that to try to keep me going. And so we have strategically gone against white supremacy in a lot of ways. And I think the way that one of the things you just mentioned is just our way. It ain't really like, I ain't trying to be no head honcho. I ain't trying to run everything. I ain't trying to be everything to everybody. I am who I am. Littles is super dope at the stuff that he's super dope at. And it ain't like no whole bunch of titles and stuff getting thrown around out here. It's just like, we are a team. That's right. You know what I mean? We a community, you know what I'm saying? And so we all, just like it should be in our households, it ain't no person over the other. You know, we all leaders and we all leading in our ways. And so where we may defer to each other is just because somebody might be better at something, but not because, you know, we got this ego trip.
Yeah. So Miss Max, did you have something?
You know, I came in back late to the show from the break, so I was just really turning my mic on. But yeah, I'm glad to give a comment. I definitely want to thank our guests for joining us today. And I think the whole mission, the whole motive, the whole action is so awesome, for real. And I think that what Prolific does is represents figuratively what it is to be alive, what it is to be Black, what it is to deal with struggle, what it is to be tried, what it is to persevere, what it is to everything, you know. And you know, I know that the community is definitely benefiting from what it is that these men and women are bringing to the city. And you know, hearing Will catching his comments about just the togetherness and trusting each other and being there for each other, like what a better message. Like we can't, it's very difficult for us as a people, despite having similar atrocities happen to us in our past, you know, having similar beginnings, for us to come together and trust one another and be there for one another and support one another and have each other's back. That's very difficult for us, you know, partially because of the things that were inflicted upon us as a people, and partially because of what was inflicted upon us, you know, our way of thinking. We've just adapted that way of operating. And so we preach it all the time, that we don't love each other enough. We don't support each other enough. And this is a perfect message of that. And so I think that our listeners really need to dig to hear and listen and see much deeper than the topical action of running, of that motion, but to really understand what that running represents, what the people behind that bring to that action, or the, you know, the mission of the group or whatnot, and put it into play to action in their lives, in their everyday lives. You get up, you support somebody, you be there for them, you go back for them. They, you know, I've said it all the time when we get to talking about different people or things that have happened in this city, you know, and people are picking and choosing sides, is that no, I'm with them because they mine. They Black, so they mine. So I support them.
That's
right or wrong, good or bad.
That's
Now,
right.
I might correct you, you know, I might disagree, but you mine, so I'm with you, you know.
Whether they right or they wrong.
I'm rooting for everybody.
Right. So, you know, I think what these dudes are doing, and girls, are awesome. I'll tell you, the reason why I came back late to the show from the break is I'm out there telling my 17-year-old and my 15-year-old what you guys are up to, and that they should get out there with you one day. So
that's what's up. Thank
much
you,
respect.
Hey, can I say one thing before you go, Littles? I always enjoy when y'all come in. If y'all can think from the times when it was y'all, Ahmad, you know, we cut up every time we get together, right? As Black men, I'm gonna tell you just something that I know me and Charles can appreciate, and other dudes that's around you like James Watson can appreciate. When y'all come in, a lot of times when you're a Black male, that people expect to say something, to do something, to be a certain way, right? When other people come into your area, you have to make sure that you still have your foundation, that they know that you're there. Whenever y'all come around, I enjoy being number two. I enjoy standing right beside you, not opening my mouth, not saying nothing, and just supporting you and letting you do your thing. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the enjoyments that you take. Dr. Bellamy, you, me, whenever we get around each other, we have the ability to just enjoy that other person and what he's doing. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. And that's something that only Black men can really understand about other Black men once they get to a certain level. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate the time that we spend together.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Black man.
So ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by our brothers Littles and Will from Prolific Run Crew. And you know, that toy drop coming up today, Little. So how about you plug that one more time, right? 4 o'clock today?
Yep, 4 to 8. The barbers then just show up. Tell a kid, tell a friend to tell a friend. Come get your toys.
Right. Good stuff. So Prolific Run Crew, y'all make sure you follow them, run with them, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we're gonna take a quick break, fam. But don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere because we still got more show for you. Don't want to miss it. We're gonna try to wrap up with some of the top stories of the year in review. We're gonna bring in here Angelique and Brother Sarad, and they're gonna come in. We're gonna close this year off right. Tell a friend.
I want to hang out.
Okay, you more than welcome.
We here, baby.
Imho Talk Show.
Yeah, I always enjoy when y'all come.
Oh man, thank you.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis. Only on 101.3 Jams.
Imho Talk Show.
All right, here we go, y'all. Make it do what it do. Y'all ready? Everybody got headphones? I'm the only one that don't got headphones. All right.
You're listening to
No warning, Max. There, we just rolling.
101.3 Jams.
Hey, back like we never left. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor, Ron. We're gonna close out this show, close out this 2022. Miss Max, what you think?
Yeah, let's do it. It's been a great show.
Great show, great year. Looking forward to 23. So many goals and ambitions. And we couldn't think of anybody better to bring in to help us do a stories of the year, to close out the year and review how we're looking forward to 23. Then our sister and brother from another mother.
Yes.
Talking about none other than the chief of all chiefs, Angelique Shaw.
Hey.
Everybody.
Talking about none other than the homie, the prophet, the bishop,
yes,
the stylist, I'll be chilling. My man,
iceberg.
Hey, my man, your homeboy, Sarah Davenport. So, you know, so it is what it is. Like, thank y'all. So, for those that don't know, you know, we are all part of the CVILLE Inclusive Media Project.
Yeah.
You know, been trying to do it big when it comes to representing our people, our community, our culture. So glad that, you know, in my humble opinion, and Vinegar Hill Magazine, that Charlottesville Tomorrow, you know, wanted to come into unison to make sure that the CVILLE is included, right? The CVILLE, the first person of CVILLE is included, and we came together to form that CVILLE Inclusive Media Project. So, and also, you know, shouts out to Eddie Harris, shouts out to Giles Morris as well. And so that's why we have them here. It's, man, so happy and thankful for the work we've done so far. You notice that I mentioned the first person in CVILLE, because that's, you know, we've been blessed to have our first podcast episode out there, y'all. If you haven't checked it yet, you can go to any podcast service you choose and go to the, in my humble opinion, the IMHO channel and listen to none other than Katrina Spencer give the first episode, and we plan on having more of that coming for y'all in the next year. But that's just one of the many things. So, you know, I guess ladies first, you know, unless Angelique wants to, you know, yield to Sarah. But, but, you know, but where we want to start, though, I think would be good is, you know, for y'all to just kind of look back at, right, 2022, the highlights, you know, for your media entity, and, like, you know, like what really stands out to you as we review this year.
Yeah. For me, it's like, I feel really blessed to be in partnership with you all, because, you know, I've been a journalist for over 20 years, and lately I've been asking myself, like, how long does it take for us to change what the narratives are about us? How long does it actually take? Because it takes so long to build them up. And I feel like the last few years of Charlottesville Inclusive Media have made huge progress here in Central Virginia in that respect, just by virtue of including different kinds of people and letting them tell their stories their way. And that's what, to me, First Person CVILLE is about. Really giving people not just the chance to tell their story, people tell their own stories, but platform and real professional respect for that storytelling.
Right.
So I think about the last year a lot in that way, you know, that I get so many emails from people who are like, I have never heard from people who are my neighbors, who are in my community before, in that way.
And Sarah, your review, your year, when you think about this year with Vinegar Hill Mag?
Yeah, I think we continue to, like, slowly incline and create a product that is institution in the community. And, you know, I tell myself now it's bigger than us. You know, I know Eddie is the originator. Everybody needs to know that about Vinegar Hill. Yeah, you know, I came in to support, but it's like it's a community institution now. Now we're trying to make sure that we are continuing to lift up that institution. That includes some of these partnerships, you know, with Charlottesville Inclusive Media Project and IMHO, also with my phone is blowing up. Somebody gonna see me on the internet.
Hey, we were on wide.
I don't see you on the radio, but
it's all right. We outside.
We outside. Right? I don't want to be outside. But yeah, with Angelique coming on and really, like, this collaboration, it's amazing. You know, Angelique is. We've learned so much just about the profession and made connections that we've never would have made before. You know, inside and outside of Charlottesville, we have some of our best. You know, we had one of our covers was Miss Richardson, who who was the executive editor of the Miami Herald and was our cover story. And Angelique actually did the interview, right? So that was big, right? And then, you know, we continue to kind of, you know, cover and journal the community, and we're just, you know, very honored to be an institution in the community and something that, you know, the community feels like, you know, is theirs and not ours. It belongs to the community. It doesn't belong to us, and we are, you know, honored to be the steward of what, you know, we kind of building. So
yeah, it's around. So why you on the?
Hey, Charles, I ain't gonna let you off the hook. No. That's not gonna have you. I'm not gonna let you off. But I got him, Saray. Don't worry about it. So now let me explain something to the community here. Angeli, Sarad, and Charles have been the point person for each one of the entities in bringing this together. Now, my question, either one of y'all can answer this. Yes, we wanted to do this great work. Yes, it was good when we won the Google grant, all these type things when we came together. But what was it like when y'all really understood that the community was listening to you inside and outside? Like, what did that feel like for the three of y'all? Because y'all are the ones that go into these rooms and orchestrate the next steps that we're going to take. The rest of us have your support you 100%. But honestly, the three of you are the ones that bring this to fruition.
Yeah, I would love to take that because so one of the first stories we ran in CVILLE, first person in Charlottesville, was by Regine Wright, who was a detective in the Charlottesville Police Department. And the headline of that story was
Black and blue.
Yeah. Why, like in the police department, it's hard to be black. At home, it's hard to be blue.
Yeah.
And we got so many emails about that story, which were people grappling with something complex and nuanced. They couldn't just say, why would a black person be in the Charlottesville Police Department, policing or protecting even the right of white nationalists to protest in this city? Why would they do that? But also, why wouldn't our community support that detective who's trying to make change? So I think it's not that everybody read everywhere that piece that Regine so bravely and courageously wrote and said, I agree with every word. But they came back and said, this makes me uncomfortable in some way because I have to understand something very fundamental about that experience of people in our community. And that's
that stuff, Angela. Y'all are doing the work.
Yeah. Sarah, you want to go next?
What was the question again? Oh, when
you know that
well, so this is what I think. I think for me, I'm kind of restless. I feel like there's always more to do, and I feel like, we gotta keep working. I think we've achieved some things that I think people in Charlottesville don't even know, right? And I think that the connections that we have made, outside of Charlottesville, people, recognize who we are. They know who we are now. And I think that there's still work to do to continue to make sure that we're lifting up all the voices and we, have an inclusive narrative. And I think there's still so much more work to do. So I'm not at a point where I'm really ready. I can't celebrate yet. I try to celebrate a little bit, just to keep you, it's like gas in the tank that keeps you going. But I feel like there's still so much more work to do. And I feel like there's still so much, so many people we need to touch, so many stories we need to hear, and Vinegar Hill, for instance, we only publish in print quarterly. So that means I have to think about it, right? And people get mad at it all the time. So you think about, so in 10 years, if it was 10 years and you publish 4 times a year, how many issues is that? 40. There's so many people in Charlottesville doing amazing things. You know what I'm saying? So you got in 10 years, you can only get 40 covers. Right. And there's so many people in Charlottesville doing there's so many more stories of people doing amazing stuff. And, and we feel I think what we do is mine for genius. It's a lot of gold out there that we haven't even unearthed to let the people see. So it's stories in the queue now we haven't even touched that I know that people need to hear about on a bigger scale. So I feel like we doing okay. We got some gas in the tank. We got some wins keep getting some wins. But it's so many more people that we need to hear their story, and the public needs to hear their story about what they're doing, what they will become, and how they're really, making change for all of us. So it's more work to do. That's where I am. You know what I'm saying?
Charles, come on now. Just because you got the microphone over there, I mean, you get a chance to be quiet when you decide to.
No, I appreciate it, Razor, for that question, the opportunity to answer that, because to me it reminds me of the old adage, if you build it, they will come. The old adage, if you build it, they will come. And what I mean by that is once the CVILLE Inclusive Media Partnership happened, I felt that moved, in my humble opinion, talk show beyond just a radio show. That moved us beyond the usual suspects that we already knew that were listening and that we already knew that we were talking to. Meaning a Charlottesville Tomorrow subscriber would just like see me or like hear me talk and then spark a conversation about the radio show, because now we were connected to a broader audience. You know what I'm saying? And also when I say they will come, when the folks started reaching out to us, and when I say us, not just IMHO, but the media project, and saying, how can we support that? Or folks saying, look, you guys should apply for this and that, you know, like to help fund getting these stories out more and these projects out more. You know what I mean? Like, so that's when I knew that the work that we were doing, you know, wasn't in vain. You know, like they come to us and it was, you know, it started seeking us out instead of vice versa.
Yeah. But that adage doesn't work in local media. You can build all kinds of things. People will not necessarily come.
Talk about it.
Because, you know, we depend on media systems, internet algorithms that may not be working in our favor. So the beautiful thing about your question, Troy, is that when we start to realize that our community values this work, now we have a chance like to build it intentionally with the community members who want to support it. And by support it, I mean, it's money. Of course, it's money. You need money to do good work. You need capacity and resources. It's also just, you know, like we depend on our readers, IMHO listeners, Vinegar Hill members to tell other people in the community, to tell people who moved here, to tell people who moved out that they need to be subscribers, they need to be reading, they need to be sharing, because we don't have the benefit of commercial media's relationships with tech companies. We don't have the benefit of the built-in distribution that national media might have at the local level. I was listening a little bit to the Kwanzaa segment, right? And to me, it was about like, you have to intentionally choose your culture. Otherwise, whatever the dominant culture is or whatever the system gives you is what is going to be what you are. And the same is true in local news. You have to choose. If you depend on Facebook algorithms or Twitter, then you're not making a conscious choice. And so what we're asking community is to choose, and hopefully choose us.
right. Yeah, that's spot on. Thank you for that. All right, how about this, Aaron, Razor, Miss Max? How about we take a quick break, and I'm gonna let Sarad and Angelique collect their thoughts, because like when we come right back after a short break, I want y'all to share what you feel like was the defining moments for your publications in 2022. You know, and you can take that question to mean whatever you want. You know, it could be what you think was the biggest story in CVILLE that you covered, or what was most impactful, what have you. Like, yeah, but let's come back right after this break.
All right, cool.
All right, cool. We are joined by the rest of our family. Charlottesville Tomorrow's Angelique Shaw, Vinegar Hill Magazine, Sarad Davenport, IMHO Talk Show. Stay tuned.
One jab. Take us with you on the go. Download the free TuneIn Radio app and search.
Somebody said my lips was ashy on
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max Razor.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion with Maxilia Robinson and Charles Lewis, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show.
Out to the Ism H to the Izzo Talk Show. Still here, still standing. We made it through another year. Still yet holding on, like the old Baptist women used to say.
Yet holding on. Yet holding on.
Hey, you know, so as we go into this segment, like one thing that I wanted to share with the people is that, like, when you look at CVILLE inclusive media, this is the conversation we were just having here during the break. You know, like most folks know that Giles Morris is the executive director of Charlottesville Tomorrow, and Angelique Shaw is the chief editor. But it's like that order, and you see this so many times in businesses and organizations, to where sometimes the business overrides the purpose. You know, like it's sort of like the cart before the horse kind of thing, right? And I think it was like divine intervention, Sarah, that it was like we had like Giles's style of just trusting us, the rest of us, and just throwing it against the wall and see what sticks. Because to me, that formulated our culture. You know, like the culture that is CVILLE inclusive media, right? But then once we saw the value that we had and what works, then you have to bring in, you know what I mean, a chief like Angelique to be like, all right, guys, let's calm it down. Let's, you know what I mean? Like, get our ones and zeros in order. You know, so I definitely appreciate that about Angelique.
Hey, Charles, I remember telling Max when I was like, you got to meet Angelique. I said, she like force next.
Yeah.
She just little teeny thing, but she like a force. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just
True story. That's what he said, Angelique.
Yep. Her and I came onto the board at Charlottesville Tomorrow at the same time, right? And so Giles was like, I want you to meet somebody, right? So she came over, and immediately you could just feel the fact that she knew who she was, what she could do, and what value she had, right?
Yeah.
That was undeniable. So it's just a matter of Giles being Giles, going all in. Him, honestly, Giles, I know you're listening. Giles was terrified. He was like, if random don't come on board, and if y'all don't do this,
shaking in his boots.
And then Max summed it all up. Max asked Giles directly, are you willing to put in the work when everybody is going to be against this? You know what I'm saying? And he paused for a second. So I know she resonated right with him. And yep, she said, will you come across the line? And then once he said yes, I jumped right on the phone. Hey, Sarai, I need to holler at you. You know what I'm saying? Late night, look, I just need you to hear me for a second. Angelique, hey, sis, look, blah, 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 blah. Charles, I need you to keep me straight, because, you know, I go off to, you know what I'm saying? And me personally, I saw, like, for whatever reason, if y'all remember, I was pushing, right? And then found out my mom had cancer. And then I wasn't in the picture at all. You know what I'm saying? Not because I didn't want to, just because I didn't have them. Had it not been for Max trying to, with as hard as of a husband as I am, had it not been for Max holding me to, like, holding me up, even when I didn't think I could stand up, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been to the point where when I did come back around to see the work that y'all did, man, like to see the value. It wasn't Charlottesville Tomorrow is investing in these Black organizations to say that they're doing something. It is Charlottesville Tomorrow investing in these Black organizations and minority-led newsroom to see what the value is, to see what the crest was going for the future. Two totally different things.
Yeah,
we wasn't checking no boxes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We brought our own. We built our own table.
Right. And I know. So I can echo this, but it like that is like that can't be overstated. The fact that this is a true partnership. Like when we talk about being inclusive, that's what we mean, and hopefully it sets an example of that. Like you need to reach across the aisle, and you need to be able to to work together to really get sustainable things done. It is possible because Sarah and Eddie still have full creative control. They still have full ownership.
He says
autonomy.
That's what Sarah likes to say. We keep our autonomy.
Yeah. And same thing with IMHO. It's like with each entity brings to the table is whole. It's already whole. You know what I mean? In that collaboration. I know, Sarah, you got to say something about that.
Please, Dr. Furcon.
Man, Troy, just let me be Sarad. My mama say it's Sarad.
Sarad. Oh, man.
Yeah. But people call me all types of things.
Man, some reason I feel like I used to call you Sarad, and you was like, well, actually, it's Sarad.
No. Maybe the opposite.
All right, opposite. All right.
So when I was in college, people did call me Sarad, and I just went with it. So like, if people that I know from Norfolk, they'll say Sarad sometimes. So my mama say Sarad. So I got older, I was like, I'm gonna go with mama.
Hey, raise a mama named Sarad. I'm gonna call him.
That's right.
I didn't have the courage because
I must say, I was wondering why Charles was pronouncing it that way. I was like,
Charles get bougie.
He ain't never
on the last show.
He ain't never pronounced it.
No, he ain't. Got his little top hat on. You know what I'm saying?
No, but it's cool because a lot of people do. Like, especially when I lived in Norfolk, I was undergrad. People did pronounce it that way, and I roll with it. In fact, I would introduce myself that way just because everybody was saying it. So it's kind of like a crazy story for myself about identity. I never really liked my name until I got older. I didn't like it.
Same.
Why couldn't they name me James or Chris? Michael. I gotta be.
You don't look like either one of them names.
So as I leaned into it,
aren't you happy you can Google for Sarad Davenport now, though?
Yeah, it's not. You will never find another.
Yeah.
But to get back to your point, though, Charles, I have to remember, so autonomy. I think that we have an authentic partnership, and I think that and I always use the terminology, we're able to exist within the tension. And I think that a lot of people check out in partnerships. It gets too hot and they can't exist within the tension of really moving forward and progressing when things get hard. And I think what we've decided to do with this partnership is that when things get hard, we decide we're gonna stay in it and we're gonna talk through it. We're gonna work through it, and we're gonna get to the other side. And I think that we're trying to model appropriate behavior for collaboration across cross-cultural collaboration. So we're trying to model, like, we are able to exist within the tension when it gets tough, not only from a perspective of just like how we operate, but also from content perspective. We have those conversations too. Like, what is the product that goes out? Like, and is it representative of, like, are we really thinking through all dimensions, 3, 4, 5 dimensions of how this is, the impact or how this is going to land. And I think that that's what makes it real. And that's why I think on the national stage, like when the people, like I would say, for example, when we had the interview with Google and they wanted to check, they called us to check and see if it was real because they didn't believe it. They were like, this can't be real. And then they interviewed us and they were like, oh, this is real. And it wasn't like a facade. Like a lot of these kind of partnerships are just on paper. And it's a way to go get a grant, right? But we demonstrated that our partnership was real without the money. You know what I mean? So like, and we try to really press into.
It's a rap. We tore that thing up though.
Yeah, man. Because I think that because that's my experience in work, in cross-cultural work, is that let's make it real and let's not worry about the money, because the money's gonna come if we real. Because the worst thing they could do is the money, because I've seen situations where the money comes when it's not real. You have all of these problems because you haven't worked out the relationship. So like, I'm always in the relationship business, and I think that we've done a good job of really kind of nurturing the relationship. and really making it real and expressing when we don't agree on things and working through it and existing in the tension and really trying to model behavior of true collaboration where there's not a hierarchy, right? And I think that, Charlottesville and everywhere, there can sometimes be a hierarchy of how people communicate with each other, where there's this unspoken vassalship. I know it's another big word. Sorry, Troy, but that just means
you went right on my head. I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's like peonage, and and it's like there's you know your place, you stay over there, but like I think we always make sure that we're being authentic, that everybody brings something to the table.
That's right,
and it's all valuable. Some people may be able to bring the back office infrastructure sometimes, or financial resources, or some people bring community connections, or there's different value that everybody brings to the table, and that we respect it. And I think that that's what's helped us to continue to be strong, and I think that's what's going to make what we built. And I said this at the little get together we had the other night, is like I think history will be kind to us. For as long as this thing rolls out and lasts, we've already done some amazing things that has never been done before. And I think that history will be kind to us for the work that we've done and the intentional collaboration we had.
Yeah. So and now as we are pressed up against making sure we close out and make way for the homeboy Clee Logan Soul Lounge, I want everybody, and hopefully we can go around the round table, Max, Ron. What was your defining moment this year? Like, what was your defining story, maybe?
Well,
go ahead.
Charlottesville tomorrow. So if you all are subscribers, and I hope you are, CVILLEtomorrow.org, we got a new logo this year, and I think it's really cool. It is a beautiful purple. I'm a Prince fan, so I won that. Contest in our design, but the logo's great. The look is great, but more than that, what it represents is really great. Because it is trying to help us convey that we are community-based, we are community-driven. We have a community board. Thank you, Troy, for being on our board. We, and we have a look now that matches that. And I'm really thrilled about that, because in addition to that, our most popular story this year, our most read piece this year, was by amazing reporter Aaron O'Hare, who's been on this show many times.
Absolutely.
And it is about the rising income levels of Charlottesville. It is about how it's not that people in Charlottesville are getting richer. A lot of people are, but it's that there is no way for somebody who is not making a lot of money, frankly, to live in this city. So poor people are leaving. And I think probably for a lot of people listening to the show, and for the group here, definitely, you all know that, right? But for a lot of people, it's really surprising. They think that everybody's standard of living, everybody's making more and more money. Actually, we're in a community that is not inclusive in some ways to people who cannot afford to be here, and it is changing quickly. So just getting that story out and getting people thinking about it. What does that mean? What are we doing here? What are the choices we have to make? Our partnership is stepping into a really important moment in this city and in Albemarle County, in this region, because we have choices to make about who we are and who we include. And I hope that the work that our three organizations do can help people get really good information as they make those really important choices for our future.
Yeah, thank you. Who got next? Y'all can chime in, whoever has it on their mind. Ron, Max, Race.
I'll go ahead just to make sure for the signal, but it was just for myself personally, it was just my own story, just embracing change and embracing something new. I think a lot of times people don't embrace some of the things that they know that they want to do that's been put in their spirit. So I would just tell everybody, embrace your own story, embrace change, and just watch what God can do.
Thank you. Ms. Mack, you were going to chime in?
Yeah, one of the first things that came to my mind was the, I guess, the panel discussion that we hosted at the African American Heritage Center earlier this year. And our panelists were members of the same entities that you're hearing being represented here today. That, for me, that discussion, you know, and being in having that space was so refreshing. And it reminded me Sarad's comments about you know, our collaboration and it being authentic and it being organic and us truly working together for the mission is what that entire discussion in that space felt like in that moment, right? I believe we were also there to kind of roll out the first person CVILLE, but just the robust conversation that we had about our work and what we were doing and what had to be done was just so really fulfilling and refreshing for me. And we had a room full of people. You know, when you have discussions like that, and in this area, you don't really know who's going to show up, right? But we had a room full of people. And most importantly, we had their attention, right? And that's how change happens. That's how relationships are built. That's how a community is created, right? That's how we build bridges. And so that right there was really a monumental moment in this collaboration. I enjoy being a part of it. And I look forward to continuing to play my role in whatever it is that we are going to do in the future. So
thank you for that, Miss Max.
Mhm.
So like he's in thought.
Yeah,
You go.
I was gonna try to look for our
It's like double dutch. I can go.
No, you go.
Okay. If you look for something, you know, to me, like, so I took some snapshots of the year, y'all, real quick, and like I think about how when Yolanda Burgess came in Razor, and how she was somebody that was locally born here, and now that's in housing and the lending, and how she was able to articulate housing and the opportunities there was timeless. I think about how we had conversation with you know, with Mr. Sheen Davis. Like who else having those kind of conversations about Semitism, right? Who else doing that, right? But you know, or Mr. Rashad Pitt, CHS principal, how he was new to the area, and that shows the power of CIM. How when folks come to the area, we're one of the places that they say check in with. And how he was learning on air as we were talking, and by his new position and about the city, it was like, you know, the brother was learning, and so developing those, you know, those kind of partnerships. But lastly, we talk about CVILLE inclusive media. So I think, you know, maybe number one is what we've been able to do is much more work. Don't get me wrong, much more work, but we've been able to incline from UVA. When you think about how the DEI offices, again, UVA Health's first ever, their inaugural, Dr. Tracy Downs, first ever DEI department at UVA Health, and how, again, reaching out to CIM was something that they said, this is what you should, like, this is how you connect to the community. This is how you try to garner support for what you need. And let me tell y'all, people, we need to support Dr. Downs, because y'all that know the history of this city and the history of UVA's impact on this city, the brother will not last long if the community is not holding him up. Y'all know it, and I'm gonna say it. You know, and also Dr. Kevin McDonald, you know, the fact, Razor, like that we were up there, you know, on stage and saying, you know, as the media representatives, you know what I mean, being able to represent for all of us, not just IMHO, but Vinegar Hill, you know, CVILLE tomorrow, you know, just that presence, I think that shows that we can be inclusive. That shows that it is possible. We just got to support each other. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Sorry.
No, I feel no, man. Sure. Go ahead.
Same here. I'm gonna be short too. You know, just looking forward to what's coming. I think that we got a lot of things coming down the pike, and hopefully people will continue to chime in. We're depending on you to chime in and be engaged. I think the biggest story for us had to be probably Angelique's story, the one with Monica Richardson. That got a lot of traction. I mean, people were like calling from everywhere to get that particular issue. And the last one was Kalila's, just from imagery.
Imagery.
That joint, like, it went crazy. Just from the photography. So
shouts out Brian Dunn. That's a friend of mine.
Yeah, so that was a really big issue. So those two were the big issues in Angelique's article with Monica Richardson. So we're looking forward to continue to growing in the future. And working with this group.
Biggest story for me is the one that we're writing right now. Like Brad said, history will be kind to us.
I like
that. That is what I enjoy the most. Every single day we are improving our position in the world, not just in Charlottesville community. Like I said, we outside now. You know what I'm saying? So that is the biggest story for me, and it's still being written every day.
Yeah, thank y'all, man. Thank you, everybody. Miss Max, we are up against the end of the show. With a minute left, Miss Max, I want you, Queen, to go ahead and close out how you wish, because we've been through a lot in this city this year, Miss Max. So close out how you feel fit.
I really want to take some time to pay respect to the people that are from the Charlottesville community who lost their lives to gun violence, or the people in the Charlottesville community who lost their lives to gun violence in 2022. And I'm not sure that I have a complete list, but I want my listeners to hear my heart on this. And if I do not include your loved one's name in this list, please reach out to us, 434-422-9101, and give me their name, and I will definitely mention it on the next show. But I just want to honor those people, no matter what you have to say, what lifestyle they lived, what they did, what they didn't do, type of person they were. I really don't care. It's a loss of life, and I want to honor it. And so the names that I have been given are Daquan Anderson, Devon J. Wilson, Toby Hughes, Jaquan Stepp, and of course the 3 young men that lost their lives in the UVA shooting, Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis Jr., Deshaun Perry. Call me if I miss someone, 434-422-9101.
Thank you. Appreciate that. IMHO Talk Show, y'all. So here's goodbye to 2022 for us. God willing, see y'all on the flip side.
All right.
Great job.